type that in on my calculator.
Where I just want my calculator back after the test.
You'll have to put it in after the test.
Well, I just did the demo
Yeah,
during
you
it.
gotta So you'll have to bring it over sometime. It doesn't have to be like that instant, but sometime today.
Okay.
Okay, I need it
Well,
back.
you're the only final I have to do.
Okay, so you can bring it over afterwards then. We're reviewing right now, Kayla.
I was reviewing on my iPad.
Okay, that's good. I don't care. Whatever. That's fine.
Videos.
So I got 1.513.
Yep.
Yep. All right, now your turn, Jersey. What do you want to do?
Can we do, it's 4B on this, it's a lot, it's another one.
Okay, yeah, your test isn't gonna have anything that complicated. Yours is gonna have something on it like this. So what do we do with that?
Just with blue.
Uh-huh. So it's 5 to the second equals x, so x equals 25. That's it. Okay? All right. Xavier, do you have a question for me? Okay, well, we're not gonna wait, so we'll get you in a second, but you get ready. Caden?
The piece, figuring out how to use the Z5 or P.
Well, you just have to think about it. So if you have, let's say 15 kids, and you're gonna choose 3. If you're choosing them for to take camping, or if you're choosing them to be president, vice president, and treasurer, those are different problems. In both cases, you have 15 kids and you are picking 3. Here, you just want to get picked. You don't care if you're picked first, second, or third, because all of you are going to get to go camping. So that is,
C.
that's a C. So that's 15C3. And remember, on the test, just like when we had the regular test, you'll type that in, get a number. This one, if you're picking a president, a vice president, and a treasurer, then it matters if you get picked first. If you get picked first, you're the president, but if you get picked last, you are the treasurer. So this one is a D. So if you are picking for specific jobs, specific prizes, then it's gonna be P. If you're just picking to have, a group, then it's C. All right, so you gotta read the problem very carefully. All right, Xavier, have you found one? Okay, so that's another calculator problem. Maybe let's see, this is 57, 12, 19, and we're gonna find that side. Now, sometimes we get crazy and we do area with this problem because we have an area. In fact, we'll do it here in a minute. But if you're supposed to do area, it will say find area. If it doesn't say find area, then don't use the area formulas because you're not finding area. Here, we're finding a side. So what do we do to find a side of a triangle?
Law, cosine, law, sine.
Exactly. And you have to decide which one you're gonna use. Both of them are gonna be on the formula sheet. Hopefully you have both of them memorized anyway, but you have to figure out which one to use. How do we figure out which one to use?
If there's a pair.
If there's a pair,
We
we,
do a law, sine.
yeah,
There's no pair that.
and by a pair, we mean this, or this, or this. Like if I knew this was 17 degrees, that would be a pair, right? But I don't know that. So this is gonna be a law cosines problem. Law cosine says x squared equals 12 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 times 12 times 19 times cosine 57. Right? So if you're a little confused by that, you need to look at the law of cosines, the law, which is, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus, and see how these pieces fit in. That's it. Now, the only way, assuming you can get this set up, The only way you can really mess it up is by forgetting, after you get it all typed in, to take the square root. Remember, the law of cosines, that's x squared. So I have to square root it, and the answer is 16.02, if I typed everything in. Okay?
Wait, you score with the answer?
Square root the answer to all that, you type all that in. Get this all typed in, hit equals, and then take the square root of that. Alright, Caden?
On the fourth term.
Okay. Oh, wait, I said I was gonna do the area. Let me do the area of this problem. So, this would be a separate problem, another problem. Find the area of this triangle. Now, when you find the area of the triangle, you have two formulas on your sheet. One is Hero's formula, the big radical, right? What does it take to use that one? If I'm gonna use Hero's formula, what do I need to know? I need to know all the sides because it depends on the perimeter. Well, I don't have all the sides, so I'm gonna use the other formula, which is 1/2 side times sine of included angle. And that one I just typed in. I don't have any work to show, I don't have anything except type it in, and it's 95.61. Okay, now, you wanna find the fourth term of, let's say, x plus 2y to the sixth. Okay, so what do I need to start with?
Building your chart.
Yep, my triangle, Pascal's triangle, and I have to go all the way to the sixth row. This is not on the reference sheet. If you're gonna use Pascal's triangle, you have to be able to build it. So I would suggest that you practice that. If you don't already know, if you already know, that's great. And there's the sixth row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's the sixth row. And I want the fourth number, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the one I want right there. So I start by writing that down. And I know that every single one of these terms has numbers and letters in it. The letters are going to be x and 2y, because those are the letters in my problem, right? Now I need exponents. How does that work?
You count 6
Count?
times 5.
Yeah, count. I mean, there's no math here, folks, we count. So, right here, it would be, on the x, it would be 6. And then it's 5, 4, 3. So the exponent on my x is 3, no magic, I counted. And if that's a 3, then this one has to be a 3, because these always have to add up to that, right? Now, when I work this out, I got 20, I got x cubed, and then watch it here, this isn't 2, this is actually 8, y cubed, because you're cubing the 2. So your answer is 160 x cubed, y cubed. Okay? Jersey?
Can we do one of these?
Yep, the limit questions?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do 3, 5/8 to the x plus 1, 3x, 6, 5x squared. Alright, who knows any of them? There's really no work here.
Is the top one 0?
Mm-hmm. Yep, why is the top one 0, Caden?
Because 5/8 is less than 1.
Bingo! Caden's eyes are zeroing in right here. When the problem is either gonna look like this, or it's gonna look like this. When the problem looks like this, it's called an exponential. We have to pay attention to whether the number inside the parentheses there is bigger than or less than 1. I could, well, we're not gonna save you the trip. Okie dokie.
Thank you.
And you give them any special instructions, or just do what you can do.
Yeah.
That's what I told Ryan yesterday. I said, do not freak out.
Do the ones you know how to do. Skip the ones you don't right away and get credit for what you know.
All right, so everybody got that? Now, which other problem is just like that? This one. What's that limit?
Two.
No. This one has no limit. Why? Look at that number. Is that bigger than 1 or less than 1?
So is
Bigger
it
than
0
1.
or no limit?
Exactly.
Oh.
Every single time. It depends just on that number. If that number is less than 1, it's 0. If it's bigger than 1, it's no limit. Now, these are different. These look different. These are the kind we box in. So in this problem, the highest power is x squared. I look for the highest power in the whole problem, it's x squared. So I have negative 10 over 5, which reduces to negative 2. All right, that is easy. Now, what's the highest power in the whole problem? Look at the exponents. What's the biggest exponent in the whole problem? 4, right there. That's the biggest one. Do I have any of those up here? No, so I'm gonna put one up there. I have no x to the 4ths on the top. Now I can box them in. So what do I have? 0 over 10, which is 0. Right? 0 divided by 10 is 0. So the limit of that one would be 0. Okay, was that your question? Whose question was that? All right, so, we'll get, do you have a question, Joshua?
Yes.
What's your question?
Do you do
Where's
one-
your paperwork? You're not even writing anything down. What are you doing here?
Do you do one of the car ones?
Yes? Find the probability, we're gonna stick with the 5-card hand because that's what we've used. Truly, it makes no difference, you just change that. No, okay. So we'll keep a 5-card hand. And we'll find the probability of 3 queens. Okay? So I wanna get a 5-card hand and I wanna have 3 queens in it. What's my denominator? 52C5, half credit. Right? I mean, seriously, we will pass this exam, or we don't deserve to pass. I mean, this is craziness. All right. What goes in the top? Well, I need to get 3 queens. How many queens are there? Total? 4. And I need to pick 3 of them. I don't care which 3. I just need to get 3 of the 4 queens. Right? Now, some people will stop here, but you're not done, because how many cards are you supposed to have in your hand? 5. And how many do I have right now? Right now at this moment, I have 3. I have the 3 queens. Now I need 2 more cards. Right? In my hand? Where are they coming from? What are they going to be? I don't know, but they're not queens, right? There's something other than queens. How many cards are there in the deck that aren't queens? You guys, you told me there's 52 cards in the deck. You told me 4 of them are queens. So how many of them aren't queens? 48. So there are 4 queens, 48 other cards, because there's 52 altogether. I'm picking 3 from the queens and then 2 other random cards that I don't even care what they are. I'm just picking them. Type that into my calculator. And I get 0.0017. So that is not a very good chance of getting 3 queens.
How do you put this in the calculator?
4 C. Do you know where the C is?
No, that's why I don't know how to do it. That's how I feel when I took this test.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
I'm trying to calm down now. I'm trying to calm down. Somebody tell her, where does she get the C? Go to math,
Then you go over.
go over to where it says prob,
And
and then C is one of the options in the list. NCR is one of those options. But when you use the button, you have to put in like 4 first, and then you go to math, prob, NCR 3. At least that's how I do it on my calculator. The new ones may be different.
Ms. Ford, do we do the top first and then divide it by 52C?
Actually, in these, it doesn't really matter. Your calculator will do that easily. But yes, that's what I would do, is do the top and then divide by the bottom. And this is the answer you should get, so you can practice that. All right, Xavier, your turn. What do you have? Okay, you find something, Peyton?
The cosine, tangent, secant, sine.
So simplifying something like something like that. So what's our strategy? What do we do? We write them all as what their equivalent fraction is. So secant is 1 over cosine. Tangent is sine over cosine. Now, if it's a cosine, we just leave it cosine, in this case squared. You know how 2 is the same as 2 over 1, right? I can do that. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just putting that over 1 to keep everything lined up. Because eventually, what am I going to be doing? Canceling the top with the bottom, right? So I want to have everything lined up. Cotangent is cosine over sine. And there's a sine. Sine and cosine are the only 2 you don't change. Everything else gets changed in the sines and cosines. But sine and cosine just stay the same. All right, now what will cancel? Anything on the bottom, this is all multiplied, so anything's gonna cancel anything. So anything on the bottom, I've got a cosine and a cosine, which will cancel those 2 right there. I've got a sine and a sine, which will cancel there. And that looks like it. So the answer is sine, cosine. The answer is just whatever you're left with after you do all the canceling. All right, Jersey?
Could we do, it's like secant 3 pi
Yep.
over 4.
Yep. Cosecant 2 pi over 3. anything like this, I mean, they're all the same. So, what's the first thing we need to do?
2 times 180.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how many degrees this is, cause we're gonna draw a picture of it, and we don't work very well in radians. We can do the problem in radians, but it's just harder. So, pi is 180.
Yes.
This question will be no calculator. So, pi is 180, divided by 360 times 2 is 120. So, whatever order you do that in, you somehow have to get 120. Because pi is the same as 180. So then we draw 120. So 120, when we draw that, remember your labels. They're the same as they've always been, that has never changed in trigonometry. So 120 would be over here. Right? Now what do? I drew my 120. There it is. What do I do now?
60.
Make a
Triangle.
triangle by dropping a perpendicular straight down. So how big is this angle right here? This is the key. Now think about it. This is 120. This is 180. So what does that have to be? 60. Now if you mess that up, you're probably gonna get the wrong answer. So you want to take your time, get the right angle there. And then based on that, you can label your sides. The sides of the 30, 60, 90 are on your reference sheet. So you just have to match it up. And then pay attention to the fact that in this problem, that is negative. If you're not in quadrant 1, something is going to be negative somewhere. So in this case, it's this guy. So then I figure out now I need cosecant. Well, this is on your reference sheet too. Cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. So hypotenuse over opposite would be 2 over root 3. Again, you need to know that's opposite, and that's hypotenuse. But if you, then your reference sheet does it for you. This over this, which this one happens to be rationalized. So we multiply top and bottom by root 3. We don't have a radical on the bottom anymore. Okay? All right, Xavier, did you find one? Nope, don't have any. Josh, have any more?
Yes. We did find the sum of the first term, the first 29 terms.
Okay. So, you have some kind of a sequence of numbers, like, I don't know, 5, 9, 13, 17, blah. And we want to find the sum of the first 29. Now, your formula sheet will have 3 sum formulas on it. These do you absolutely no good unless you know which one to use when. See that S? Sum, these are sum formulas. You're going to use one of those formulas. How do you decide which one you're going to use?
Is arithmetic or geometric?
You got to figure out if your sequence is arithmetic or geometric. So what is it?
Arithmetic.
Arithmetic with a common difference of 4. So which of these formulas, because I don't have them labeled, which of these formulas is your arithmetic formula? 1, 2, or 3? Second one. This is arithmetic. So according to the formula, the sum of 29 terms is 29 over 2. What does A sub 1 stand for? What does that mean?
5
First term, which is 5, plus, what does this mean? Bad news, it means 29th term. Do I know the 29th term? Nope, so I have a choice. Could I work this all the way out and find the 29th term? Absolutely. Now, I wouldn't, with 29, that's probably doable, because this exam is pretty short. But if it's 290, you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be writing out 290 terms. So what do we do instead?
Go back to the A.
Go back to another formula. I have formulas with A's in them, 2. There's only 2 of those. So I have to figure out which one I need. The second one, because it has a D in it, and you already told me I'm doing common difference. So the 29th term is the first term, plus the common difference times 28. N is 29. So N minus 1 is 28. So then I'll figure out what that is. And that's 117. And then I take that 117 and put it right here. So plus 5 times 29 divided by 2. I got 1769. Now, you need to make sure that you are reading this problem carefully, because we did this because he said, Josh said, find the sum of 29 terms. If it had said, find the 29th term, then we would have just stopped right here, right? That's the 29th term. That's the 29th number in the list. So you just gotta read it carefully. Okay? Now, Xavier, did you find one? Xavier, it's circled. Okay,
We need to simplify as much as possible.
so an exponent problem. So I want to do a couple of different things with that. 27 to the 2/3. Now this is a no calculator problem, so you've got to remember, what does it mean? This is a really simple exponent problem. No letters or anything in it. What does it mean 2/3 power? What does that mean? Fractional powers. Only this one won't be a square root. This one will actually be a cube root, because this tells me which root to take. So I got the cube root of 27, and then I need to square it. So what's the cube root of 27? 3, and 3 squared is 9. Now, what if it looks like this? 8 to the negative 1/3. So what do I do? If it's a negative exponent, I have to start by making it 1/, right? And then it's just like this one. So that's a fractional exponent. So that's going to be the cube root of 8, but this time just to the first power. So that's going to be 1/, the cube root of 8 is 2. And then, so there's a couple simple examples of exponents. Then we have the ones with the letters and stuff in it. So like 5x to the negative 4th y over 6x y cubed, and to the 2nd power, let's say. All right, so what do we do now? What do we do with that?
Bring the 4 down.
So
Bring all the
you
negatives.
can do things in different orders. I like what Josh said. He said, I want to kind of clean up. This is kind of messy in here. I want to clean that up. So he says, that's up on the top. What do we do with negative exponents? We move them. So these 4 are going to come down. Now wait, there's already 1 down there. So when I move 4 more down, now I'm going to have 5 in the bottom. Now no one here is moving. I have 1 y on top of 3 y's. What happens when you have 1 y on top of 3 y's? The top one cancels, completely gone, and leaves me with 2 on the bottom. Kids, if you need to write it out, write it out. This is what you got. Those are gonna cancel. Right? No Y's are left on the top. Just 2 on the bottom. Now, don't forget, you still have to square it. And that means square everything. So 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36. Now, what do we do with the exponents? No, we multiply. These get multiplied. These get multiplied. So that's gonna be x to the 10th and y to the 4th. All right, that's it. We gotta stop. We gotta get everybody ready. We got some extra people in here taking the exam, so you guys can study with each other.